Big news here at E4 Electric. I'm excited to announce that Byton is now the official sponsor of this channel, and I, your host, Alex Guberman, is the official ambassador for Byton, a brand ambassador, which means I will be involved in a lot of cool projects and events and so forth. So I'm very excited about that. Those of you who've been watching this channel for a while probably are not very surprised. As you know, pretty much most of my sponsors that I have here are either services of products that I use or a reservation holder. So this is kind of a natural progression because I've been excited about Byton pretty much ever since they've been unveiled back in January of 2018 at the CES in Las Vegas. But I'm gonna actually walk you through that memory lane and show you some of the footage of all the places in the world that I went with Byton, and the reason why I really like not just the product and the brand, but the people who are behind it. I think it's very important that the people who are part of this, or any startup that's trying to break into an electric car scene and automotive industry, that their heart is really behind this technology, because they're going against a lot of odds and a lot of big giant legacy manufacturers. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, but I'm also going to preemptively address something that I know is coming. Basically, I know some people will say, Alex, well, how can you stay unbiased and impartial doing electric car news if you're sponsored by an electric car brand? Now, again, those of you who've been watching me for a while know the answer to that, but nevertheless, I figured I'm just going to nip it in the bud right from the very beginning and address it at the end of this video. So let's get started. Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric! Welcome to E4 Electric, sponsored by Byton. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Of course, if you want to stay up to date on everything that's going on in the world of electric cars, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you don't miss anything moving forward. But most importantly, become a part of this community. All right, so there are many things why I am such a big fan. And again, this was an easy choice, I think, for both sides. It's just kind of a matter of doing a little bit of business and kind of making it official. We're actually not even going to be selling anything to you guys, because the reservation, making a reservation for Byton M-Byte, the SUV that's going to be for sale next year. They're in production at the end of this year. They'll be on sale next year, starting with only $45,000. And the specs, they're pretty awesome as well. I believe they're the only brand out there that charges nothing. You don't have to pay anything to reserve this car. So, and I'm going to have a link in the description of this video and every video where you guys can go spend 30 seconds reserving it for free, and boom, you might have a choice next year or the year after that without what I'm assuming is going to be a pretty long line once people realize what these guys are making. And these cars will start at $45,000 before the incentives, which is kind of insane, right? And I love the way they did it, right? Because at first everyone was like, oh, how is it possible? But it is possible because of the strategy, right? They are, even though they're headquartered in China, they are a global brand. They have headquarters in Europe. They have headquarters here, pretty much down the street here in Silicon Valley in Santa Clara, California, that I visited actually last week. And as you know, a lot of manufacturers are moving their production to China, including Tesla. But Byton figured that they're going to do it from the very beginning. And the team that they've put together is a team of actual veterans. A lot of them came from BMW, working on the I-Series over there, and from Tesla and Infiniti and many other brands. So these people know what they're doing. I remember I asked Karsten, the CEO. At that time, he was CEO. Now he's just the chairman of the board. Karsten, how have you learned the lessons that Tesla have taught you? And he was almost offended. He's like, Alex, we know how to make cars. Like, you don't have to reinvent the production process to reinvent the car. We're just here to reinvent the car. We know how to do production. And I have to say, they kept true to their word. Every single deadline that they've had for themselves, they've met. And I visited their factory in Nanjing when they were just starting to work on that. It's pretty much almost finished now, just like they said. Every single milestone they've hit quietly. every time Tesla doesn't hit their milestone, there's a lot of news. But every time Byton hits their milestone, there's nothing to talk about because they did exactly what they promised. I really, really like that. And again, I like the whole global brand thing because they will launch in China because that's where the factory is. But immediately the next year to 2020, they will be launching and selling the cars in America and Europe. They're going to be one of the first Chinese-based brands to actually sell cars in the United States, and I think it's really, really cool. And so yeah, it's and just like I said, as over the year, over what year and a half, I've met a lot of them, and I realized that their hearts are really in it, including the executives. Daniel now is a CEO and a president. Throughout the last year, he was just a president. Karsten was the CEO. Now, obviously, they split it up because that's what grown up corporations do once they grow. So let me kind of bring you guys in a few minutes and show you what happened since I remember like in December when I was preparing December of 2017, I was preparing for CES of 2019, and this brand, Byton, whatever, we didn't know how to pronounce it. All we knew they were going to have this beautiful screen that's going to be replacing the dashboard, and it was kind of crazy. So I ended up going to Vegas and contacting them. They were really cool, and getting a press pass. And this is me reporting in front of their very first prototype over there. This is the unveiling. This is the first time everybody saw what now is called M-Byte, their SUV. At that time, there was no name for it at all. And it was really exciting because, by the way, the designer for this car also was part of the BMW i8 design group. And by the way, we were scheduled to do a test ride in that car, but it was raining, and because it's a prototype car, we couldn't do that. And by the way, that's Dan from What's Inside. I think a lot of you guys know who he is. This is look, it already at that time when they unveiled, it already looks pretty much as it is going to be going into production, and it's just absolutely amazing. Now this is next event in Milan, Italy, and this was kind of a part of a design week over there. This once again me getting into the car, and this was very artsy type of an event. It was pretty cool, and I think this is the first time this is the first time I interview Karsten, which I actually really like talking to. He's just a fun guy, a very different type of an executive. Again, at that time, he was a CEO. Now he's a chairman. And, very honest also. That's one of the things that I really like about him. He's very honest. This is one of their, artsy type of displays there, as you can see, because it's a Milan Design Week. And the entire installation was called installation instead of just a display, right? So it's really cool. By the way, I really like the car. I mean, it's also pretty much how it's going to be going in production. There are very few changes that they've made since then. Now, this is our trip to Nanjing. This was Shanghai when they've unveiled their four-door sedan, and now it's called K-Byte. Now that's going to production 2021, I believe. Very cool. Also, now they're not one hit wonder now, and this is our tour of their Nanjing factory. As you can see, there's only one building. It's humongous area, but there was just one building at that time where they were building prototypes, as you can see. And I can't believe it's now finished. Once again, me talking to Karsten. Again, just always good time, and also very honest. I think that's the interview when he told me about the production challenges. And this is Daniel, who now he was a president at that time. Now he's president and CEO. And these are their offices. You would think they're in Silicon Valley. No, this is in Nanjing. I believe 4 or 5 stories there. So, and this is the next event in Monterey, California for the Monterey Car Week. And this is the 4-door K-Byte. Again, another really awesome. I just love their design of everything, not just the car, but also like how they build their booth and the brand. And if you go to their website, it's just nicely designed. They're also all about the user experience. They really put a lot of effort into that. And this was my first ride in the car. As you can see, the dashboard is amazing. And as you turn the wheel, the actual little monitor on that, where the horn would be, it does not move. So that's really cool. Very much a panoramic roof. This is me doing a panel, moderating a panel of this amazing people for the TechCrunch Disrupt in San Francisco, California. As you can see, the Byton car is right behind us. This is the Byton's booth. They were the main sponsors there. I had an amazing time. This is the type of thing that I will be doing as a brand ambassador, so I'm really excited about that. That's a former CTO, I believe, of Tesla, the guy in charge of Amazon Echo for cars. It's unbelievable. So this is Karsten once again presenting at the LA Auto Show, another place that I caught up with them, and it was also a lot of fun. This is another presentation they did, and also over there they were giving rides in the cars. You can see driving around a real prototype, real car. So I was really excited to once again ride in it. I actually spent some time inside. They literally just kind of left me there inside of the car. Yeah, that's me. I did a couple of videos there and just got familiar with it. The design inside is also just so modern, but yet luxury, right? This is something that I think Tesla is struggling with. Look at that. Me and the Karsten, once again, I think he's been on my show so many times. He probably should be a co-host at this point. This is me and Karsten now at the, I don't even remember where this one is. Oh, this is CES, right? This is CES 2019. This is this year. This is their presentation there. They were mainly presenting the UX, which I really absolutely love that they're putting so much effort on the user experience. So it has been just a really awesome journey with them. Again, all of their events are really cool. And I'm looking forward to, there will be a few other events this year, not as many because this year is year of execution for them. And I absolutely really, really like it because, the show has to be over at some point and they have to execute, and once again these guys have been executing just absolutely flawlessly so far, and I haven't seen them back down from anything. Like, this is why I really like the brand. I like the car, I like the technology, I like that they're still innovating, right? Because they're still in the startup stage, they're able to innovate. Tesla had innovated back in the day, but now they're a really big brand. They have production stuff that they have to worry about. It's hard to innovate. But these guys have been innovating, and I think they're the most innovative car company in the world, period, right now. So that's why I'm, really, really excited about it. All right, so let's talk about what I promised I will talk to you guys about, and how can I be impartial moving forward with my a channel if I'm now sponsored by Byton, one of the players, one of the brands. If you, again, and that's why I said, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I've already been doing that, right? So for example, here's me talking about Audi e-tron. Now this was in Spain, Marbella, Spain, just a couple months ago, I believe. God, it feels like it's just so many of those trips. But anyway, so the entire trip was sponsored by Audi, right? They flew me there, me and my assistant, and they paid for, our food and our hotels and everything. And I've made a few videos there, but this particular one was about the side mirrors that are cameras that I just did not like. And as a matter of fact, as you can see, a lot of staff members are walking around. These are a lot of Audi people who, I did it just right in front of them, and they watch my videos. They understand that I'm not going to like everything, and I've done this before. So really, if you know me, you know my channel, I'm just going to say what's on my mind, and I will report everything fairly. And sometimes if it's maybe not the best thing, then I'm still going to do it, because that's just what it's all about. And which brings me to the next point. These brands who sponsor my channel, especially the brands that are automotive brands, the reason they want to sponsor this channel is because this is an impartial, unbiased channel. And that makes sense for them to get in front of the audience, right? If we were a Byton fanboy channel, I don't really, first of all, they probably wouldn't need to advertise anyway, but secondly, people would not really believe me that much, because they'll be like, well, they're impartial. I mean, they're very partial. They're fans. So Byton, and again, I can probably speak for all of my future automotive sponsors. They want to advertise on a channel that's specifically unbiased, and therefore they are not going to interfere. And which brings me to a next question. Now, I don't really disclose what's in my contracts and the sponsorship agreements, but this one I can tell you for a fact. Every single sponsorship agreement that I have with all of these brands have a specific clause without which I'd never move forward, and I have declined a couple of deals because of that. And that's because, and that basically says that, besides this little thing that I do a shout out and the logo and stuff like that, the brand that is sponsoring has absolutely no control over the content of the show. I mean, this is basically like watching news, right? I mean, you watch CNN, Fox News, whatever you guys watch, brands advertise there, but at the same time, there are sometimes, many times, negative news about those brands. And, they announce that we're, parent company owns the whatever, there's a relationship with their sponsors. And that's what I will do as well in the description of every video. I will make sure. And by the way, I don't think I've ever not announced that this, a sponsor, and so it says over there, and I always say sponsored by. So I've never been hiding it. All my videos are marked that they're sponsored. So I that's just how news works, right? So I hope this answers any type of reasonable, even though it's a little insulting if you've been watching my channel, if you actually would ask this kind of a question. But again, go look at my library back and you will see that nothing will change. And again, the reason I picked this brand and I think they picked me is because I'm already a fan. And even though I've criticized them a couple of times, and it's another thing, you can go back and look at the way they've done the CEO slash chairman split with Carson and stuff like that. I wasn't a big fan of that. And you know what? I will continue criticizing them if I see so fit. And you're just gonna have to stay tuned. So if you haven't subscribed to this channel, this probably would be a great time. By the way, speaking of subscribers and fans, let me give a quick shout out to Boris, one of my newer Patreons. Thank you so much, Boris, for becoming a Patreon. The only way how you can watch me live, this is an independent channel that I do full time. So thank you for contributing and supporting me. If you guys want to become a part of my Patreon community, there is a link in the description of this video where you can click and become a Patreon. Right next to the link where you can, for free, reserve your Byton, which I have already. It's really taking me literally 45 seconds. So anyway, guys, I hope you're as excited as I am about this moving forward and all of the different adventures that I'll be able to go on as a brand ambassador for Byton. All right, looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you next time, and remember to stay charged.